Hello everyone, this is Diyar from Back of the Nest and Karen Road with a happy Chris Hamlin there, smiling. Lineups are in, we're inside the stadium, so let's quickly talk about it. Unchanged from the Southampton game. What do you think of it, Chris?
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised it's unchanged. Koyata's obviously still carrying an injury, probably the only player that would have come back in. But I think McCarthy's probably earned a couple of games in this busy period. Obviously the main thing to talk about is no sign of Camarasa, so presumably he might well have gone back to Spain after not being used. And Nia Kirby's on the bench, which is really good for him. Don't expect him to get on.
Yeah.
Roy doesn't like to use the subs, but it's nice to see these players actually getting first team time, on a match day.
I don't know if time's enough, I'll be honest. I mean, if you want to see first team experience, if you want to have proper experience, yes, it's nice being around the lads, but after a certain period of time, you just want them out there on the field getting experience playing. And as you said, realistically, do I see Kirby coming on? No, unless there's a couple of injuries or something like that. But as you one player that you did mention, Camarasa, what do you think of his treatment at Palace? I mean, he hasn't really played as much. I think he's only played 5 Premier League minutes. He's played in a Colchester game where everyone was poor, including him. But even through an injury crisis, it seems like Roy prefers the youngsters over him.
Well, I think there's what we don't really know, can't comment on too much, is how he's trained, how he's been around the club, whether or not he's been a good influence or he's responded well. He's been given the challenge of breaking into the team. We don't know that, right? But what I do feel personally is no matter what the situation, I think he has been badly managed, because he's clearly not been happy about not being one of Roy's picks. I think the opportunities given to him have been very, very small. Roy's talked about the fact that, even last week he was bemoaning the fact that he had no match time. Well, Roy's responsible for the fact he's had no match time, so he can't really claim he's not useful as a squad player because he's not played, and it's him that's not played him. So I think he has every right to be disappointed with how he's been treated and the opportunities he's been given. But like I say, that's the caveat, is we don't know why that is. We suspect it's because Roy has the players that he trusts, but why Roy won't trust Camarasa when he proved he could play at this level last year, we don't really know the answer to that. And for all we know, I suppose we have to give Roy the benefit of the doubt, don't we, and say he's probably got a very good reason.
Yeah. Let's talk about positive though. Max Meyer, 3 starts in a row. He came on against Brighton, had a good game then, and then since then Roy has been giving him opportunities, but you haven't really been happy with the way that we've used him. I mean, going to the game, you talked about how he started out wide. Do you think it'll be the same case?
Yeah, he's playing in the sort of Townsend / Jeffrey Schlupp role, so that's not what he really is. But then I guess there's no real place for what he really is in the way that we play. So I'm glad that he's getting an opportunity to play football. I think it's up to him to show his talent in that position if he can. But I think it's difficult. That's always been the problem with Max. People are either keen to see him and then disappointed when they do, but they're not really giving him the benefit of the doubt in the fact that he's being used in a way that doesn't really suit the way he plays. We've heard the people at the club talk about the fact he's a wide left central midfielder, but he's never really had a run in the team in that position in any major way. So he's a very, very talented player and one I would like to see more of. But I totally understand why Roy plays him the way he does.
But I think what I noticed is in the last couple of games, it seems like, especially in the second half, when the players get more freedom, it seems like he goes into more central areas and gets closer to Wilf. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I think it's more of Roy's tactic, because you look at it in the first half as a whole, it's not only Max Meyer. I think as a whole, we just want to defend and make sure that we don't concede a goal. And in the second half, we just want to push on. So I think that's the main reason why Roy doesn't really play in the central areas. He just wants to make sure every area of the pitch is covered, and he clearly doesn't trust Max's maybe physicality in central areas to compete in the Premier League, I guess.
Well, it's interesting against Southampton, Roy seemed to kind of acknowledge that as a bit of an error, because Max played the second half much more central and almost in behind the striker at times. And we were talking on the way up as well. We've made a concerted effort to get McCarthy and Koyate, or McCarthy if he's playing instead, just trying to get those players a little bit further up the pitch, into the kind of area in front of the opposition defence. Those of you watching this today, whether you're watching it at home or at the ground, watching the first half, if you look just in front of the back line of Norwich, you will see what I like to call is a circle where we just don't have anyone in the first half. Very few players break into that circle just in front of their defence. But second half, we always shift it and get a couple of players in there. So I can see that that is the real sign of what Roy is doing. It's very deliberate that we play a very concerted, reserved kind of shape in that first half, and we try and open out into the second half. The trouble is, if you concede in the first half, you're screwed.
All right, let's have a score prediction for the game.
I think it's going to be a tight one today. 0-0 at half time seems like a banker, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think probably the first goal wins it 1-0 for me.
I think 2-1 Palace. But let us know what you think in the comments down below. And also, we forgot to wish them a Happy New Year. So Happy New Year, everyone.
And we're back soon, by the way.
Exactly, for the podcast. And make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And let's see what happens up the Palace.